This is a DKW Schnellaster by Pro Innovation that I received earlier this year from Fritz Meier. I probably am pronouncing the name of this vehicle horribly, but I'm trying. According to Fritz, it's a promotional gift from a German supermarket chain, and it's probably a 1/43rd scale. Doing a little research online, I found that the Schnellaster was produced from 1949 to 1962 and is of a one-box or monospace configuration. Its features make it a precursor of the modern minivan. Now, Fritz, who I received this from, is a collector of MoonEyes livery vehicles, so I thought I'd do this in a MoonEyes theme. I've really been looking forward to working on this one. And I thought that would be fun. I wanted to make this something fun. Now, as you see, it is larger scale, obviously, around 1/43rd scale. There's a lot of posts. That front post that I drilled out first, that's holding the plastic base onto the metal body, it's very small. I ended up using a 172 screw into that when I drill it out here in a little bit. But there's a lot of other posts. There's a post that holds the front glass in place. All the windows are covered, unlike some, say, Hot Wheels where the side windows are open. All windows are enclosed on the front of this. The back window has a separate piece of glass as well. The dash panel is mounted on two little posts up front. You saw me take that out a moment ago. And now I'm taking out that rear glass. It's a really nice casting. There's something about how plain this thing is. It's a box. It's a box on wheels. And I love it. It's just interesting. And I don't know why. Stuff like this really appeals to me. I don't need a super amount of detail on a casting to find it intriguing. Now, at this point, I've obviously thrown it in the stripper, got all the paint off. Paint that came off exceptionally easily in Citrus Strip. Drilled it out, and again, there's the 172 screw going in. I put a temporary screw in when I'm working on these things, and then I put a nicer one on later. There's the base and interior, which the interior is just seats. The wheels, what I decided to do, it has rubber tires. And I took a look at them, and I didn't want to destroy it by pulling those off, and I didn't want to do a wheel swap because I want this to look like a delivery van. So I ended up just pulling the rubber tires off, and you see here, they come off really easily. It wasn't much of a fight at all, which made that really nice. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to end up here in a few seconds masking this thing all off. There you see just what I said. I didn't want to pull those wheels off. And like I said, I didn't want to destroy those wheels. I didn't want to do a wheel swap. So I just masked the heck out of the plastic on here. And I'm sure some of you are going to look at this and go, man, he got carried away. But I didn't want to get any of the paint I'm going to use on this on that. The paint I'm using for the wheels, I didn't want to get on the rest of the base. I'm leaving it black. So the body, I went over it with a buffing wheel, the Scotch-Brite buffing wheel, but it's a very clean casting. It's new. So here I dip it in the IPA just to get any residue grease off of it. Just clean it up really well for paint. And I did speed this up a little bit. You're going to notice there are sections of this video that I do speed up quite a bit because this turns out to be a lot longer video than I thought it would be. And there you see what color the wheels are now. Yellow. Huh. From MoonEyes theme build? Yeah, I'm sure everybody saw that coming. And then I just popped the tires back on. But they're nice tires. They're nice wheels. I didn't want to change it. I want this to look fresh and new as well, so I didn't hit those with Nuln Oil to weather them at all. This is not a weathered build by any stretch of the imagination. I try to make this as bright and good looking as I can. So, those wheels pop. And yeah, they roll, because how could they not? There's the dash. I pulled the steering wheel off the dash to paint a little easier. And so I just painted some detail on there, because you can't see it through the window. And then there's the panel that separates the back and the front, the cab area of the van from the back area. You can see that through the front windshield, so I couldn't resist putting a MoonEyes logo on there. I could see them doing that if this was a delivery van. I certainly could see them not doing it just as easily, but for the sake of fun, why not? And I had already, that's actually a decal from a set I had purchased a while back, so why not? Can't say the same for the rest of the casting, because I did have to come up with my own decal set for this. But that ends up working pretty well. So that's the first easy decal to go on. I used the color shot paints, the white primer, their emoji, which is their yellow, and then once the decals are on, I go over that with their clear sealer. The decals, I just grabbed images online and came up with what I wanted. I did need to do this for the white toner section that goes behind those decals. And there you have the color set of decals. And off to the right in the water is actually the white toner decal waiting. Trying to figure out the alignment. That was really the only difficult thing about doing the big logo for the side, is I had to make sure I had the alignment the way I wanted it for the white toner decal that goes down first. And so I check and recheck that, as you're going to see here in a second, because the white toner decal doesn't have the lettering on it, and I needed the moon wording to follow that horizontal line on the body. I didn't want it to be off from that in some way. Fortunately, the horizontal line on the body, and there's a line just below the roof line of the vehicle that helped aligning it. Trimming the decals well also helped. I didn't leave a lot of excess around them, as I do on a lot of decals that I'll apply. And I could have on this, because they are white toner decals, so it just would have been a clear area behind, and any excess would have just been in the clear area. But trimming everything really closely worked well for this. It let me align that white toner decal section that you see there going on first. And then on top of that, and I do let that set just a little before I go to put the color on. It's not going to move once I go to put this on. I do use microset between each application. So before the white toner decals went on, microset went down, same for then the color over it. And I subsequently off screen apply all the other decals, including the stripe on the roof. There isn't a lot of detail on the base of this casting. Again, this is a plastic base, but for basically just the exhaust, I went ahead and put that in silver. The exhaust that comes from nowhere. Yeah. It is a promotional vehicle, so I guess you can't expect much. And again, I love this casting. I mean, it's fun. Or at least I had fun with it. Let me put it that way. Other people may look at this and say, wow, they could have put a lot more detail on this. But that left it up to me. That's part of the fun. So there you see all the detail on the base. Here the decals have been put on, and now I'm using silver Sharpie to just add a little bit of detail to like door handles, Up by the side of the door would be the rail that you would grab when you get into the van. That kind of thing. So I did that detail. The stripe along the roof is a decal as well. I used one of my favorite Moon little logos on the doors. Each door has that logo on it. And so I was pretty happy with the decal set. And again, the color shot paints, man, I'm thrilled with those paints. Hard part for me is always the headlights. I probably should have done decals. They're slightly oval headlights on this, and they were shaped a little odd. And so I feared that any decals would wrinkle, and I wouldn't be able to get them to suck down well, even with microsol, that it wouldn't be as effective as I would hope. I did paint that front grill area black, as you see there. And here I'm about to go over that with matte white varnish, just to seal that paint. That black paint is Army Painter paint that I put down first. And then as I recall, the matte varnish I'm using is by Vallejo. Comes in really handy. I bought a big bottle of it, and it's probably going to last a lifetime. Over the headlights, I put micro crystal clear just to seal those as well and give them a slightly more glass-like finish. I don't know if anyone can really see that, but I know it's there. For what it's worth, I know it's there. So, a lot of times on these builds, some things are just, well, I know it's there is the answer to a lot of things. I use the resin pin to attach all of the glass and the front dash because it's just easy. You just put them on the posts, and then use the resin pin to fill in the little hole that's there where the post is. And then the light cures the resin, for those who aren't familiar with the resin pins. You basically put the drop of resin in there, fill that in, cover the hole a little bit. Then when you hit it with the UV light, it cures that resin, instantly drying it in effect. And I was kind of generous with the resin there. I like using that instead of CA glue, because CA glue can cause clear plastics to fog. And so this just avoids that whole possibility. And it holds pretty well. I'm not saying you couldn't pop it off of there if you really wanted to, but anything you could probably pop off of there if you really wanted to. The dash was a little bit of a bear to install with the two posts, because they were exceptionally short posts, and then I drill them. So there's even less of the post there. So as I recall, I even edited out a healthy chunk of me fighting the dash, and I cut it down to mainly the main points of me getting it to finally stick. The dash also seems to help hold the windshield in place. Not that it needed it because it had that post, but just the way it butts up against it, I think it would also help in that situation. But there you see just the struggles. There's probably better ways of doing that. But this works because you hit it with the resin there and then you cure it. And you're pretty much good. And so then I added more resin to the other post. And I think I redid that original post a little bit better as well. Because you can see it still has some flex there in it. And so I'll cure that with the UV light. And there you go. It was nice the way the panel slips in here. Behind it feeds in behind the glass. There's a gap between the glass and this ridge on the interior of the casting. That panel fits into perfectly. They did that really well. And there you can see how you can see the lights, see the eyes through the front windshield. And so, yeah, that's it. It's time to put this back together. I did add small Moon license plates on there. And even though the license plate area is designed, obviously, for the larger European plates, all of the plates I found, or at least found quickly, were US size plates. But I still added that on there because I don't know, I just think it added something to it. I liked the way it ended up looking with those plates on it. It just kind of added a little more detail. And that's, so much of these are just adding a little detail here or there makes a big difference. And yeah, it rolls. So there you have the original casting. And I honestly fell in love with this when I saw it in the box from Fritz. He sent me a variety of things. It was great. And I did an unboxing earlier on this channel. So you can go back and look at that if you'd like. But when I saw this, for some reason, it just grabbed me. I like the possibilities on this. It almost became a big J.B. Weld fan. But then I thought, no, MoonEyes is the way to go. So there you see how it turned out. I love the color shot paints. I love the way the Moon logo looks. And the little running Moon speed equipment logo. There's a little bit better look at it on the back. I just love that logo. I did originally, if you look back at the decal set, I had printed some different decals for the doors. I was only going to use the speed equipment on the back door. And those doors, the side logo that I had on there, I just didn't like the look of it. It wasn't appealing to me, so I went with the speed equipment on the side doors as well. So there you have it. I hope you like this build as much as I do. I imagine you can hear in my voice how much I enjoyed this build. So, Fritz, I hope you think I did this casting justice. I had to take a flash shot so you could see that moon on the back panel there. Everybody, thanks for watching these videos. Stay safe and healthy out there. I'll catch you in the next one.